exciting episode of A6. I'm here with Jahan as usual because, I don't know, I keep finding him laying outside in my hallway covered in urine like at 3 in the morning. He says he doesn't drink, but only drunks do that.
Damn, covered in urine?
Yeah.
God damn. I mean, I could take the drunk part even though I don't drink, but god damn, covered in urine?
All right, so
that's abusive, man. God damn.
Yeah, actually, I had a old roommate, somebody who moved in my house, and the cops kept bringing him home covered in piss.
God damn.
And the reason was that he kept going off the elevator and going the opposite way, banging on the door of the people.
Oh, the wrong door.
Yeah, at the end of the hallway. We're at this end, they're at that end.
Yeah.
He's banging on their door and screaming and yelling.
His key don't work and shit.
And then falls asleep in front of their door and pisses, and then they call the cops.
Oh damn.
They bring him back, right?
Yeah, and they see his ID and it's like, fuck, he went to the wrong apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess that's all right or whatever, because at least they didn't hem him up or some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He made a wrong turn.
Yeah, okay, but he was a real piece of shit anyway. The type of guy who like you would be looking around your house for cups. You're like, where are all my cups?
He's got them all in the room.
Yeah, but not only are they all in the room, they're all filled to the top with urine.
Ew.
Like, I don't want to get up and go through the house
to the bathroom,
and I'm just gonna piss right here in this cup.
Oh nah, bro, that's yours. That's trash.
Yeah, it is. That's the reason he had to go.
Okay, yeah. Enough about piss.
Enough of that. We actually have a real itchy topic today, man.
Got a couple.
So we're just gonna get straight into it. Okay, the topic of the day is: should women be given 3 days off a month for having their periods?
Yeah. See, I
personally think at face value that it's a valid argument.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna preface first by saying this, right? Like, we're thinking about it in very general, simple, and logical context, right? One thing I do want to point out is, some of these motherfuckers are not just talking about women. They're talking about, anybody, whether they're trans or whatever, if they got the equipment. You understand what I'm saying? If they got the equipment.
Right.
They got the uterus.
If you have a period.
Yeah, basically. Doesn't matter if you were born Jane, but now your name's John.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so here's my thing, bro. Like, I'm not unempathetic. Like, I understand, you know what I'm saying, how, a menstruation cycle can, really fuck up a woman's day, fuck up a woman's week, fuck up, a shim's day or fuck up a shim's week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll never understand.
Could cripple them.
Yeah, I'll never understand personally, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I've been with enough women, I ain't got nothing but fucking sisters, you know what I'm saying? I'm privy. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I'm saying? This is where I got a problem with it. You're taking a stance that, well, not you per se, but like, these people. I ain't gonna call out names and shit, because that's not really what's important. It's just the subject. Right? They're taking the stance that just because you bleed from down there, that you deserve, extra paid days off just to stay the fuck home. Right? To me, that's hypocrisy. Here's why. These same feminists going off on this shit been, clamoring and, bickering and screaming to the top of their fucking lungs about having equality in the workplace. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All across the board. You know what I'm saying? With equal opportunity, equal pay, equal opportunity for potential advancement, so on and so forth.
Hold on a second. Because you know what it sounds like? It sounds like you're exploding with every other syllable.
I apologize.
Get your life together.
Shut up. Nah, got it together.
And then,
it's the herbage. Yeah, but like I said, so for me, I feel like it's Hippocratic from feminists to try to pull this bullshit, bro, because it's like, all right, you want equality in the workplace across the board, and I don't have a fucking problem with that at all. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with that, because I feel like, you know what I mean, being hired, growth potential, raises, all of that stuff should be based on merit. You know, not on gender. You know, not on nepotism or any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm all good with that, right?
Right.
The hypocrisy to me is that on one end, you want that. You know what I mean? You fight for that. You will not stand. You will not stand for anything until you have that. And I'm totally cool with that, right? But you want to have your cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want equality, but then you want to pick and choose when it suits to benefit you. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's hypocrisy. For me, that's bullshit, man. Because it's like, all right, what I'm really getting from it is that you say on the surface level we want equality across the board, but
you also want the exact opposite. You've said the same thing three times.
We want special fucking favor just because we got a vagina that bleeds.
Right, I've got it, and I mean you've said it. You've said the exact same thing 3 different ways, right?
I mean, I'm just trying to cover my bases, man.
It's not your base is covered when you say it's hypocrisy.
Right.
I want to know what else because I actually have an argument to that.
Okay, all right. So my thing is this: if you want equality, that means you want it for everybody involved. You know what I'm saying? Not just the motherfuckers like you.
All right, wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. First, is really quick, man. We got to break down and we have to acknowledge the fact that feminism is a word that started in one place and ended in another. Okay? Feminism started as an idea that broke itself into being a champion, right?
Okay.
Feminism started out as a champion, but it eventually turned into what now is considered a laughable, the common slogan, feminism is cancer. Feminism is cancer, right? Mm-hmm. The thing is, you have to really break it down and realize that when you're talking about women, you have to separate them. You have to separate all the different kinds. Then you have to look at the one who's saying what you're saying, and you have to figure out exactly everything that's going to work out. Because some women, right, may not prescribe to being a feminist, a modern-day feminist.
That's fine.
They may say, I am not a feminist, right?
Yeah.
But, boy, it would be nice if on those days that I am just fucked, that I would not have to suffer and literally lose out on it, because it's not something that you can get a shot for to make sure you don't get the flu that year. It's not something that you can take your multivitamins and make sure that you don't get your period.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
Bro,
like
they have things that can I don't want to say completely stop it, even though I want to say that's on the table.
Well, that's evil.
But I'm serious. Like, I want to say they got shots, birth control pills.
Yeah, it's evil.
It's
all evil.
But it exists.
So
it exists. It exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck whether it's good or not. I'm just talking about it exists, right? Therefore, you got options. You know what I'm saying?
Guillotines exist.
Bruh, I'm just talking about what is. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, for me, bruh, this shit ain't even about my personal opinion. This is just about dissecting the flaw in your fucking argument. You know what I'm saying?
I think that what it really boils down to is men and their relationships with women dictate how they're going to feel about it. Because I would love to give my baby mama fucking 3 paid days off a week. I would love to let my girlfriend take 3 days off and let her get paid for it. I would not bitch about it. I would not moan about it. I would even accept and understand, because you know what? Every single month when that time starts to creep up and that cramp hits that day the cramp hits and it's like, oh shit, I'm bleeding, right? Part of my crudity there, ladies. But I feel anxiety and I feel sorry for her. And I think that is what really...
Why?
Because I don't have to deal with it. And
that's the only reason?
And I could be... And you could be born on this planet as a human, right? Mm-hmm. Or an animal. Mm-hmm. But you can also be born as a man or a woman. And a man is way more equipped for independent life. Is way more equipped for that shit. Is way more equipped for not having to... You don't have something that happens to you every month.
Yeah.
And
I don't.
you don't. Something
Okay.
that could potentially get in the way of you working. Let's say you're at work, right? And you're sitting here typing in something and you got to do it at the right time. They're working with you. You know what I mean? Everybody's working together. And you're like, shit, I'm having an issue. I got to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's embarrassing. It is. So what it really boils down to, I think, is hatred or bitterness of women.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No? All right. Well, I'm just,
Not at
like
all.
I'm saying, I'm just calling it
Not at all.
like I see it. But many men that I know who say, nah, fuck that. Let them fucking take a hit like a man. It's like, those are the men that have had bad relationships and shit.
See, bro, that's not even the ground I'm standing on, bro. And like I told you, ain't nothing but fucking women in my family, bro. I've grown up around this shit my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've grown up around this shit my whole life.
I only have sisters, too.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, that's fine. See, like I said, for me, bro, where I'm at with it is, I see you cherry picking by asking for the shit to be fair. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit. That is. Don't even say
It's
it.
fair.
No, it's not. Like, period, point blank, bro. Period, point blank. Imagine, if men lobbied, you know what? Something, say you could argue that it's, debilitating for some, not so much for others. Just like you could argue the period thing for women. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. So imagine men lobbied and shit, like, all right, you know what? If I'm at work, I get an erection, I can't function. I need to be able to go home and be paid for the rest of the day. Motherfucker like, what?
You can control that.
Motherfuckers gonna be like, what? Not everybody can.
Yeah,
Not everybody can.
Yeah, they
I'm
can.
just gonna say that shit just cause.
I mean,
Just
but
'cause.
they can control it way better than a woman can control when the blood starts coming out.
You're right, but the fact still stands. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not. No,
Yes.
I'm right. So the fact
No.
doesn't stand.
No, it does, and I'm gonna tell you why it does. Because this is like, if like I said, bro, if one person would have said, motherfuckers just laugh at it. But if men in general started lobbying for this shit, motherfuckers would be like, man, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then you could argue,
Right.
okay, well, who are you to judge all men on how they can handle their bodily functions? Like for example,
You have to get rid
for
of this
example,
erection thing. Does not make any sense in the conversation.
does.
It doesn't make any sense.
It does.
It doesn't.
It's a natural bodily function. Is it or is it
Dude.
not? Is it or is it not?
So is spitting. So is eating and swallowing.
Okay, now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been at school and been asked to go to the front of the class, write something on the board, and your dick hard?
What if one of your?
Has that ever happened to you?
Yes,
That's embarrassing.
I loved it.
Okay.
When I was at the
You just
board,
walked up.
I rubbed it. You know the thing that
walk
hangs
up,
the chalk.
just walk up, dick out like this.
Well,
going to the motherfucking board, dick out like this. Come on, bro.
Pretty much. But you know the thing with the chalk there? I would rest my dick on it, and then I would write so it was sideways.
Okay.
And you know what? That made me a pervert because I'm sitting there in class getting a boner thinking about some bullshit instead of fucking thinking about... Because honestly, if I'm thinking about ants working as in an ant farm, like the biology teacher wants me to, I'm not going to get a boner, right? But if I'm like glancing off to the side and I'm looking at fucking Betty Harris's like exposed nape, then I'm, you know what I mean, going to get
Right.
a boner. Like,
Okay,
women
now,
cannot control their period at all.
How often do you think shit like that happens in school?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter. Just say yes. It happens.
100%.
Just say yes. It happens often.
100% of
Just say yes. It happens often. It don't have to be
100%.
100% of the time, but yes, it happens often. You know what I'm saying? Now, the way you describe it is how it is for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't describe how that would be for me or any fucking body else that could be outside that door. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, bro, the hypocrisy in it like this is for me.
I think if you said, teacher, I have a boner, can I get up and leave the room? She would say yes.
Right, but I just gave that an example of a context for feeling embarrassment or, feeling uncomfortable in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Now, you woke up with morning wood before, right? Yeah?
Okay.
You woke up with morning wood before, right?
Yeah,
Yes?
Yes, okay.
Yes,
I
okay,
agree
now,
with that.
now,
Doesn't
is that
periods-
something you controlled or you woke up like that? You know what I'm saying? Because you weren't like beating your dick while you were asleep, to stimulate it. You woke up and your penis was hard. You know what I'm saying?
So
that's
you hate women and you like talking about dicks.
That's not what the fuck I'm saying at all.
That's what's coming out on this whole thing.
Bro, I mean, then apparently your mindset is just like them, bro, because that's not what the fuck I'm saying at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm building context for how one could feel uncomfortable with a situation, just like one could feel uncomfortable in a situation.
Yeah, but one could feel like, I want to cover my tats. Let's say if I don't want them to see my tats, I wear a sleeve, right? That's one kind of if they see my tats, I'll feel embarrassed. That's different than if I'm bleeding blood out of my body.
I didn't mention tattoos at all
because I'm trying to take it away from dicks.
No, I mean, because we're talking about the private areas.
We're not talking
I'm keeping
about
it there.
Normal bodily functions, is honestly, if
but,
you started
but
bleeding,
that is
out
a
of your
normal
dick,
bodily function once a month. That's a normal bodily function once a month,
dude. Normal is actually something that is just always happens. And in my opinion, bleeding out of your body
always happens
is
every
abnormal.
Month. It always happens every month.
Yeah, but something abnormal happens once a month. Something weird, fucked up happens where you've got blood coming out.
Look, we getting way the fuck off, man. I'm gonna bring this shit back, bro. Look, this is my stance on it.
We're not off. We're talking about the period and how it affects women, not how it affects men. And how them getting money would affect their egos or whatever. I'm talking about women, and I'm not talking about equality. I don't want to talk about fairness. I want to talk about women's periods and illnesses at work. That's what I want to talk about. If you're at work and you're throwing up, something's coming out of you. Now, you've thrown up before. Yeah. It's normal for people to throw up. It's a natural bodily function. Right. But you got to leave. And there's a lot of places that have paid sick days for you.
Right. So, use those when you got your period. You know what I'm saying? Stop asking for extra shit. Asking for extra free shit.
There's never 3 paid sick days a month. It's never in the contract for anybody.
I mean, it's like at a certain point you accrue a certain amount of PTO and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If you know your shit is like that, then use it for that. You know what I'm saying? Use it for that. If you worked yourself into a spot, use it for that. You know what I'm saying? If you know that you can't function, you know what I'm saying? Whether you sick, you ill, you're on your period, you know what I'm saying? You ain't getting no sleep or whatever. If you know you can't function at work, stay the fuck home. You know what I'm saying? Stay home. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine with that. Stay home. But my issue is you want this shit to be fair across the board when it comes to work and shit. But then it's like you got this one thing. Oh, you know, we deserve special consideration for that shit. Just because my pussy bleed.
No,
fuck all that, bro.
It's
fuck
not
all that.
Dude, that's like you saying I deserve just because my head's cut off. Your pussy's bleeding. To me, when I hear it, I'm like, whoa. When you hear it, you're like, ha, I don't know what you're feeling.
No, I'm just like,
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Walk and bleed.
Look, listen, my nigga. This ain't something that's new to fucking women. You know what I'm saying? This shit been happening, like, I can't even tell you when the first woman started having her period. This shit been happening forever.
Different circumstances.
Entire history. This shit has been happening forever.
Okay.
Right? I don't want to hear this bullshit now, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear this crap now.
This is the episode that ends A6. Watch.
I don't want to hear this crap now, you know, because
there's a deeper rooted issue here. It doesn't have to do with like whether it's fair or not.
Yes, it does. That's all it's about.
I don't believe
that's all it's about.
You wouldn't have that passion.
That's all it's about. I mean, because
you would not have this much passion about it.
What about
somebody getting something that you're not getting?
Because no. See, I'm gonna tell you what it is. You know? The issue for me is that, like I said, it is all about fairness and equality across the board. The bigger problem I got with it is that you got all types of motherfuckers that co-sign this bullshit. For me, that's a deeper rooted problem.
So what you're saying basically is the companies have to abide by certain rules as far as not discriminating, right?
I'm gonna repeat what the fuck I said, bro. These aren't my rules, bro. These are federal government rules.
You can't discriminate.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You can't like whatever corporation, whatever company, it doesn't matter. You know, there are rules and laws in place that say, you know what I mean, you cannot discriminate on hiring based off of, you know, gender, race, religion, all of that stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, you know what I mean, you can be sued for that shit. Right? So,
but the question is, can we give extra to somebody?
Let me finish. Because, like I said, bro, this is all about being fair to everybody, right?
Certain men won't get that 3 days, and they'll be like, what the fuck?
Nah, it ain't. Nah. Nope. Not even that. Not even that. Like I said, any person, like I said, you go through negotiating and shit. Now you go. Like, whatever negotiations they go through, interview, hire, whatever and shit, you know what I mean? And they agree to work for this company and receive compensation for the work that they do, right?
Correct.
When you sign your name, you know what I'm saying? You agree to the policies that company enforces.
You're thinking about it like a goddamn employee. You're not thinking about it like a company asset, like somebody who's joining a company, as opposed to an employee.
Because the thing is, bro, like when it comes to policy, it's very fucking cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? Like because you want to make it fair across the board and shit, bro. We gotta take all that extra bullshit out of it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta take that extra bullshit out of it. Right? So, like I said, you sign the paper, you agree to the terms. You agree to the terms. Right?
It's to fight these extreme edges that I guess we need to go to socialism. To fight these extreme people who can say, no, the rule is this specific thing, so we can fucking hang you on it. Like, at this point, I'm starting to get flipped. You're flipping me. You sound like Henry Kissinger or somebody telling me that the rules are set in place and that everybody should have to follow through. I mean, honestly, if you sound like a Republican, capitalism is the way it is. The world's the way it is. Everything needs to stay exactly the same way. All I'm saying is, can we not find it within ourselves to stop saying, no, fuck that, whenever anybody wants something, and find a way to let's start giving people the things that are going to make them happier. That way we have less people in the world that are like, no, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Like if you asking for something on the grounds, excuse me. If you ask for something behind you already standing on the ground that you want shit to be fair across the board, you know what I'm saying? You try and rig the game. You trying to,
the game's already rigged.
Siphon more. You trying to siphon more behind, everything should be fair for us too. But really what you're saying is, what we really want is we want more what benefits anybody with a pussy and fuck everybody else. That's what I see in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because if you come in screaming we want equality, right? But then you piggyback right behind that, like, you know what, we deserve something extra for free just because we bleed. Fuck out of here with that shit, bro.
And yes,
that's not equality.
And yes, you're absolutely
right.
That's
not equality.
You're absolutely right that there are a bunch of fucking militant women out there. But let me say this. It's a very small amount, by the way. Almost no women prescribe as feminists, by the way, that are fucking sitting here saying that we should hang men. You know what I mean?
I ain't even going that far.
I'm just saying. That's what they're saying. There's women out there who are saying that all men should be put in camps or whatever, and women should run the world. That is an extreme view from the feminist side. And then there's women, who just want equality in the workplace. Then there's women who say there is equality in the workplace. There's all different kinds of women in the world, right?
Yeah.
And for me, not fighting a feminist, not as a man on the man side fighting the women's side, I'm just looking at it from like friend side, virtue. If you were a female and 3 fucking days out of the month you were bleeding and hurting and it just hurt to fucking move, I would not. Number one, I wouldn't want
home.
you.
If you can't work, stay home.
That's right. And guess what?
If you can't work, stay home.
And guess what?
That's what I would be told.
But
that's what I would be told. Like it wouldn't matter the fucking reason, bro. If I couldn't function at work, I would be told either to go home or don't come in. That's what most of us would be told.
Dude, you're not listening. You're just jumping right to your fucking defense.
No, I mean, but
you're not
that's the whole bearings.
You're not going to hear what I'm saying.
I mean, you can continue, but that's the whole bearings. Go ahead.
If you're a woman and you're bleeding 3 days a month, right? You are bleeding. You are off of work way more than men. Way more, okay? Men, on average, don't miss. There are men like my father who never missed a day in 7 years at this job. Like myself, who never miss.
Right.
I don't miss work unless I got to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm throwing up because I'm sick. My stomach is cramped up. It hurts to walk and move. I'm nauseous. This is what happens once a month. This happens to women. It's not the same as for men. And if men can't see that, then there is something inherently wrong with the male mental structure right now. I'm not saying that it's fucking our fault specifically. There's probably a bunch of things at play working against people, because what we're dealing with now is a society of people who likes to put everybody into a group. And all women are not feminist anarchists.
I know that.
And most
I didn't
of
say
them,
they were.
Most
Like,
of
I
them,
don't know where you pulled that shit from.
well, here's the deal.
I didn't
though.
say that shit.
Here's the deal. You're saying if they are asking for this, then they can't have this.
Right. You know, I mean,
who's they?
look,
Just the feminist women. Then?
I put it to you like this, bro.
What about a normal woman who's not a feminist?
I put it to you like this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just off saying this shit, bro. It's a couple 100,000 people that agree with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
There's a couple
There's
100,000
an entire
people.
fucking organization of
Right.
men who are fucking like sick of it. Men who are just sick of women. There's a whole fucking page.
I didn't even say that shit.
There's a whole
bro.
world of them.
I didn't
That's
say
that
that shit.
100,000 people who love exactly hearing that fucking women should not get anything for any reason.
See,
Extra than men. Nothing extra for any reason. But guess what? I think men should actually get more pay for some of the more hazardous jobs we do, which we do. But I also think that men should have the psychological evaluations, and that it should be on the government. It should be free. It should be on our society. We should do it. On us taxpayers. Men should have extra things too. Like for a guy who works his ass off all the fucking time for his family, we have to give him something. We have to give everybody something. Or, if somebody can't fucking do it, we have to help them. And I can't believe we've switched sides so drastically, because I am the one who is usually saying the system is set in place the way it is. People are going to finagle it, and if one person tries to get their little hand in there, they're going to corrupt the whole thing. And I actually, if I followed that structure, I could understand what you're saying, okay? It can be abused by certain women, right? A woman could say, okay, I'm going to take my 3 days off this month, but I'm also on birth control, so I'm partying the whole 3 days. Maybe, right? That's possible that could happen. It's probable that it will happen a bunch of times. But I can't, if there's one thing that has, I am just amazed by myself from looking at all the men around me in my world, from looking at my father all the way to my friends and the way they are with women and everything. I am amazed at myself that I actually still feel that like it's almost like they're like babies to me. Really. Just the fact, it's almost like a woman, all women, just the idea of seeing one of them crying for some reason still pokes at my heart. Now maybe
I understand.
I mean I
understand that.
Yeah, but at the same time, we don't give a fuck as a whole. And I don't understand how I'm supposed to poke my little nose in there and say anything, because like you said, there's hundreds of thousands of men who believe the same thing. How do we change society's viewpoints on this to where men are nurturing women for everything that they need and can give, and women are giving back to men for everything they need and lack? When are we going to get there?
I'm going to tell you when
you can't get there with this fucking... I'm
going to tell you when we're going to get there.
This is set in stone way.
This is bro, see, the thing is, the set in stone thing you're talking about is not even about the whole structure of everything. The set in stone part that I'm talking about is, clamoring for that equality in the workplace. You know what I mean? Women, being paid equal to men, blah 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 blah, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You set the terms, and now you asking for some more. The fuck?
Who did though? But it's not. It's this woman. The tweet that we're talking about is
I'm
actually
talking
just
about,
for one woman.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's a shared mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's a shared mindset. You know what I mean?
Because it's such a blanket tweet. It doesn't address any of the issues. It just states something that I actually thought seemed correct. That the period is at a disadvantage. It is a physical disadvantage that men don't have. Mm-hmm. Lots of physical. They actually have lots of them. I am a firm component of, man, if she's pregnant, don't make her do anything she doesn't want to do. I want perfect harmony in her mind.
I'm put you
for
like
the baby,
I'll
right?
put you like this. I'll put you like this. If pregnancy, I could understand if a woman was given, you know what I'm saying, paid time off, for a couple months or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But even that shit would turn into being abused. You know what I'm saying? Even that shit would turn into being abused.
I think we've decided. I think it's probably a good idea to not. Pardon me. I think it's probably a good idea to not go down the pregnancy road right now, because that is something that is an emotional topic to a lot of different girls, whether it be past, present, past, future, wanting, whatever the case may be, abortions and stuff like that. I don't want to go down that path because pregnancy could be an issue. We'll stick with periods, because that is, to me, like, I feel sorry for my woman when that starts happening, because I can just imagine if all of a sudden my ass started leaking blood and I had to hurry and get a rag because my jeans that I just bought are get fucked up. You know what I mean? Because I didn't expect that today.
Right.
It's 3 days early.
Right.
God damn it. Like, this is it. Almost like, even thinking about it now, I could take it to a level where I just,
like, if that happened in the day, I could understand.
break
like,
down.
I could understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what I mean, if you ain't got what you need, you know, to get your shit together, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You be like, all right, you know what? You just go home. You good? I got you for today. I could understand that.
Right. My boss.
I could understand.
Would do that.
I could understand that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what's being asked for. You know what I'm saying? That's not what's being asked for. What's being asked for is free money. You know what I'm saying? What's being asked for is free money. Just because. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking for X just because why? You know what I'm saying?
This is where it comes together and actually makes a little bit of sense to me, because money equals survival in our economic system. And also,
I mean,
working equals money.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm talking about the workplace.
So if I see somebody with a limp, I'm gonna give them a little extra push, and I will give it to them. And you know what? I'm not gonna
what
put.
do you mean a limp?
Like, if somebody's got, like, let's just say the woman that you're talking about, and the boss says, "Oh, I see that you have a problem. Go ahead, it's on me." Right? I don't want it to be so specifically on the boss, because it's also on him to say, "No, work through it, bitch." Like,
true. You know what I'm saying? But in that respect,
but
you know,
3 days
it would kind of depend on the level of the company.
Listen, 3 days is a modest number. Okay? Now, if there's any ladies watching and you got this far into here, tell me if I'm wrong. But when the period starts, it starts with slight cramping and discomfort, right? The next day after you slept on it, you wake up like a stiff board. It's everything. Your stomach does not want to work.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to work for you. You know what I mean? It's rebuilding. It's trying to fucking make a whole new uterus, basically.
Yeah.
And then by like the third day, if you're doing good enough to like just get up and fucking go play tennis or go have boxes at work or whatever the case may be, you are among the amount of exceptional women out there, because the generally it's 4, 5 to 7 sometimes days, and a lot of those cases, and I know like 3 or 4 offhand, are severe, and you can see it in them, like they're sweating because it hurts. It's like, damn, man, like, you know what I mean?
But see, bro,
and you have to not get your paycheck for that, and you get, you know what I mean? And that week, so you were counting on fucking 3 3/4 weeks.
I get all of that, man. I understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like any fucking body.
Do you?
It's just,
because
yes.
when you get to the point where it's like saying, man, just because your pussy bleed, no. That sounds like you don't understand at all. That sounds like you're just like literally like.
No, but see, bro, here's the thing, man. Like, we all calculate. Like, when it comes to work, we all calculate. You know what I'm saying? You know what we supposed to make versus the cost to live. We all do that shit. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if you're a man or a fucking woman, unless you just stupid. You know what I'm saying? You so stupid, but somehow talented. You got somebody to do it for you. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, right? So we all do that, right? Now.
Or you're just winging it, living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah,
most people are.
Yeah, but you still calculate.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that your calculations always end up with you saying, I'm going to make it.
Well,
sometimes your calculations are like, no, I'm not going to make it, and fuck.
I know, but you still calculate, is my point.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking about whether you're successful and you're saving money and you're investing it versus you're barely hanging on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still calculate.
I heard what you said, and that was my answer. was that even though you can calculate things, it doesn't mean that it's going to work out. And if there's something
that's a part of life.
And if there's something
that's a part of life.
If there's something that we can predict is going to happen badly we know it's going to happen, and we can predict it. That's one of the few things that's like distressing to humanity that we can predict. You know what I mean?
Like I said, bro. Like I said. When it was clamored for equality in the workplace, you show up, work, you do your job, you get paid. Based off of what you agreed to. Those are the rules. You know what I'm saying? Very simple rules. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
Yeah, well,
unless either you're on salary or you have paid time off or sick leave, etc., etc.
That's actually, I mean, honestly, you're leaving out other rules that kind of counteract the idea that that's all you do. You don't just go to work, put in your hours, and leave and get paid for your hours. A lot of people get bonuses. There's lots of other rules. The bosses can't do things to you. The bosses have to let you work a certain amount of time if you're on a certain fucking pay.
There's pay
full time or you're part time.
There's payroll, right?
Yeah.
There's payroll, right? Where the employer makes calculations off of like losses and gains. You know what I'm saying? We can afford to pay this many people to work this many hours per week, right? So that's what you're going to do because that's what they give you. You know what I'm saying? You come to work, you work those hours, you get paid. You know what I'm saying? Look, fuck the complex shit. At its base level, that's what it is. At its base level, that's what it is.
You know what?
Do you agree?
Do you know what that reminds me of? Do
you agree?
Okay, fine.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
there is a pay department, and the guy does money. I agree, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm looking at the ethics behind all of this because there is also an HR department. There's also lots of different things involved in a job that dictate how you can be treated depending on certain things. And people with disabilities, you gotta have ramps. Oh man, should we put ramps for people? Should it be just like
disabilities? No. Disabilities is the only fucking exception for me when it comes to asking for any sort of preferential or special consideration in the workplace. It's people with a physical handicap or disability.
All right, so I'll tell you.
That's all.
I'll tell you a disability. What's that? Having seizures, right? If all of a sudden you have seizures, right? So should you have like padding around you to protect you from seizures?
That's not how you're supposed to do it. When you have a seizure, you just need the area open.
All right.
Like
with a soft floor, something like that. But seizures only happen hardly ever.
God forbid you fall on your head, but like the thing about it is like at least from like what I've come to know about seizures and stuff, like the ideal scenario is that a person will be able to, if they have a seizure, will be able to fall in an open space and not into things or like for example into all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably get hurt more.
So there's different levels of people who have seizures. Okay, there's people who have seizures so often that they can't work. And then there's people who
and they would be on government disability.
Right. And then there's people who have seizures just, last one was like maybe fucking 3 months ago or 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And if it happens again, I have a plan. Right?
Yeah.
Periods happen more often than those things. Right? Like, so any special accommodations we might have to make for that guy, his disability, periods, I think do constitute a disability. Even though some people, you don't think so?
Nope.
Your pussy opens up and blood pours out?
No.
And you can't walk for like days? You don't think that's disabled?
No. Because it don't affect everybody like that, bro. Stop it. Goddamn well don't affect everybody like that. To the point where they can't walk, stop it.
Dude, I've lived with fucking 3 women and a mom, 3 sisters and a mom.
How many?
And I've had a baby mama.
How many billion women in the world are legal adults that have their period?
Lots of women have their period and you wouldn't even know it.
Right? Right, that's what I'm saying.
But they are also outlying.
Thank you for covering the bases.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted you to do was cover both ends of the spectrum. Thank you.
There are women who have their periods and wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know they're on their period, right? Mm-hmm. And they would just power through it. There are some tough women out there.
And there would be some men that really have women parts that would have their period and you never know.
Well, that's a whole nother
Right,
fucking...
I'm just covering the bases.
That's a whole...
I'm just only reason why I throw that in is because they threw that in. Okay, that's the only reason why.
And that's funny that,
That's the only reason
that
why.
they would actually bring that kind of shit up because,
That's the
like,
only reason why.
what if I identify as a woman? Do I get no? You don't, right? If I'm a man and I identify as a woman, I don't get those paid days off at all. I don't get any leniency.
But that's not what they're saying. That's not what they were saying.
Well, I think
like,
if
yeah,
you're
we should too.
if
You know
you're
what
a
I'm saying?
if you're a
born-
woman,
I was born Jane, but now I'm John.
That's
But
fine.
but I still should benefit from that too.
if you're born Jane and now you're John, you still have your period. You still like get fucked up. I don't care about that. If you're
Right,
a
I'm just saying-
biological
I'm
woman,
just saying they included all of that. In
If
there.
you're
But,
a
what you're
biological
talking about,
woman-
what you're talking about is a man that transitioned to a woman is what you're talking about.
yeah, they were also bi. Oh,
that
yeah,
what
I'm
you're
talking
talking
about
about?
man to woman. No.
Okay, yeah, because they don't have the internal part.
Right, right.
Yeah,
right.
I got you.
They're not. Gonna, if you have a
Okay.
period,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what this.
Okay.
it
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
upon.
right. I'm just saying. I just threw, like I said, I just threw that in there because they did, right? But
Right.
anyway, back to the base level, right? On the base level, like I said, unless you're on salary where you're paid X per week, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and there's, there's stretches and shit like my nigga, like. Unless, you know what I mean, you got it good like that where you don't have to come to work for the whole fucking week and still make your money and shit, you know what I mean? But those are far and few in between. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But on base level, if you don't come to work, you don't get paid. You don't make money. On base level. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Now,
If you don't have a job, you don't make money.
but I'm talking about in the workplace, which is implying that we're talking about people that are employed and making money going to work, whatever the job.
We're also talking job security.
No, I'm not.
But that is a big part of that. This job
It is.
security issue.
Yeah, I
because
mean, no,
if you have
it's
a job,
a part of it. It's a
you
part
have
of
a
it.
position,
Right.
Not
It's
just a job.
Right. It's a part of it, but that doesn't apply to most people. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a part of it, but it doesn't apply to most. But like I said, on base level, if you don't go to work, you don't make any money. Right? That's true with me, you, Shaquita, Jane, Michelle, etc., etc. So,
Let's just sew this up, man.
I'm getting to it, right? So, after that base level, right? It was viewed by, a mass mindset. Because I don't feel I can attach to any one person, but it was viewed by a mass mindset that the terms in the workplace were not equal for all. You know what I'm saying? Like cut and dry, men were getting more of the pie. You understand what I'm saying? That was the fucking argument. We want to nix that shit and we want equality in the workplace. Right? That's what happened. Correct? Are you with me?
Okay.
Okay. So,
Legislation was passed.
like the example we brought up and shit, you can't discriminate, hiring based off of gender, race, religion, etc., etc. Right? So, now, legislation was passed, you know what I'm saying? What you asked for, you got. What you asked for, you got. And now you want to come behind that and be like, we want some more. Like, the fuck? That's not fair. That is not fair. That's my whole fucking argument. You can't do that shit, bruh. You can't do that. You can't do that. The fuck? That's Hippocratic to me, bruh. It just is. hypocrisy.
It's two different. You know what? We have
It's
the
hypocrisy,
we
bro.
have the mindset of
It's
two
hypocrisy.
different tribes.
That's hypocrisy.
Only in your tribe. It's hypocrisy in your tribe. In my tribe, there's a lot of balancing factors, so it's not that bad. It's not hypocrisy because there's balancing factors. In your tribe, it's fucking one thing.
See, here's the thing, bro.
One answer
Like
for
I
one
said-
question.
Like I said, women been having period forever. Right?
Doesn't matter
This
about
is
that.
not something new. This ain't something new. You know what I'm saying? So
It's new for them. Every
no.
single time they turn fucking whatever age they turn and start bleeding, it's new for them.
I got you.
As a person, as a human being, we have to look at each
Okay,
other
so-
as individuals, not
Now,
them. They
but
want
see, but
this. They
policy,
got that.
Policy is not shaped like that, bro.
A
Policy,
fucking-
policy isn't shaped like that. Legislation is not shaped like that. At all.
It is.
No, it's not.
All the rules
No,
are
it's
set
not.
in place for individual rights.
But see, what you're asking for is to consider, yes, giving some extra based off of certain individuals, not all individuals. That is not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I'm saying women, all women. All women. What I'm saying is, if you want to talk about fair, we as men, quote unquote, gave women these specific rights and allowed them, quote unquote, in to our little game, right? And in my opinion, we have not yet reached the level where we've made up for what we owe women in this world. But they have become bitterized by men, so we're too bitter at each other. You couldn't,
now,
like you and that lady
now, here's the
would
thing.
just argue.
Now, here's the thing.
Because you hate each other.
Does policy, legislation give a fuck about how you feel? Does court give a fuck about how you feel? No.
That's wrong. They do.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Facts don't care about your feelings, but laws and stuff are mainly put in place because people always catch feelings. That's why the laws are out there. It's all about feelings, man.
I disagree.
Except for facts, and if you're talking about money,
all I see.
No, money doesn't care if you're bleeding or not.
All I see is another mindset taking shape, trying to pull a swerve. Man, that's all I see, bro. That's all the fuck I see. It's as simple as that for me, bro. You know what I'm saying? What you trying to pull? You're like, nah, you know, like you gonna pull a fast one on motherfuckers because you think like simp ass weak motherfuckers are gonna be like, yeah, you're right, nah.
Right? Nobody's getting ahead, bitches. Remember that. We holding this shit down. We keeping it here on the fucking dungeon level.
Ain't what I said.
That's where we're staying. Ain't none of this gonna be giving people extra shit and people being happy.
What?
Fuck all that shit.
I'm gonna put it to
none
you
of
like
that.
This. I'm gonna put it to you like this, Sean.
Y'all got it twisted. If you think,
if
you think you getting anything extra from us because your shit fucking bleeding, fuck you. I don't give a fuck if you bleed. Fuck you. Fuck you.
He said that shit.
I'm just to paraphrase.
You paraphrasing
to paraphrase,
me.
my friend.
Paraphrasing me.
Yeah, to paraphrase.
Oh, right. Because at any point in this fucking recording, I said "fuck you" because you bleed.
Yeah.
I
fuck that. Pardon me. Because you bleeding. Fuck that.
Bro, the reason why I said women been having a menstrual cycle forever is because, for me, it's like this. If that was part of something that you wanted when you clamored for this shit from the jump, that should have been on the table then. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it, bro. All I see is a fucking swerve, man.
Dude, everything. And you're right. You're right to see it. But what you have to do is not fucking feel hate and bitterness towards it. Let me give you a long timeline. Let me give you a long timeline. Mm-hmm. A cave woman, okay? Yeah. She fucking goes out and she takes a piece of deer hide and scrapes it till it's soft and leaves her people. Mm-hmm. And she stays gone until she stops bleeding. That was the traditions of the Neanderthals that we know, okay? She goes away. Uh-huh. Right? Mm-hmm. Bears, whatever the case may be. She had to be fucking tough and strong and survive on her own out there in the wild. The men had to do that once when they were young to prove themselves. But women had to just continuously do it. Over the years, yes, you're right. We've known about the menstrual cycle. That's why we sent them away. That's why we said, get the fuck out of here if you're bleeding. Then, as time went on, we started doing a little more of this, a little more of that. Less than 2,000 years ago, the Bible and the Quran were both stating that if a woman has her period, she can't touch the Bible. But that was based on the idea that a lot of people weren't clean back then. Yeah. And, you could spread things through blood transfusion. If a woman has AIDS or something, it's spread, But as we move forward and farther, we still know the period's there. And slowly we're adding more and more to our understanding of it to where we get to the point where, like, honestly, we are not yin and yang with women, and that is the point. So I'm not saying that you're wrong about if we legislate this in, that they all get this 3 days, that there won't be people who abuse it. That's a fact that there will be. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we got off the idea, should they get money?
Not just that.
Should we care?
Not just that. The whole idea of
should we care about
executing that legislation is abusive.
And when we as men,
that whole idea of that legislation is abusive.
And I hate to be this because I'm not a feminist. I promise you. But as men, we don't have to care about the period. Unless it's on the surface level where she is acting or behaving in a way that we don't comprehend and don't like. If we're like, oh, she's acting out, she's PMSing or whatever.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think it's possible that a woman not being in the workplace for 3 days can affect either work being finished to a completion or the quality of work that's done?
If she's, you know what, that is actually a good answer. If she's gone from work for 3 days, I think it's easier to put somebody in her position that can get that work done than it is for her to lose the money. It's easier to keep the money flowing for the big company than it is for her because she loses the money.
You're not answering the question.
Will they continue? They'll still make money.
I'm not saying they won't make money. You know what I'm saying? But okay, like I give you a couple examples, right? And these are going to be on different levels, just so we can kind of cover our bases. All right, a cleaning company, right? They got like for example, whatever Jane's cleaning company got a contract to clean X office building, right?
Right.
You can argue what I'm about to say is sexist or whatever, but this is just what I've seen constantly everywhere I've been. Majority of the cleaning crews are women.
All right. Yes.
Now, would you agree scientifically that the more women are around each other, the more they start to have their periods at the same time?
It's conjecture sometimes. Women who live together and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or just, are constantly around each other. Like, for example, constantly being on the jobs, constantly riding in the cars together. Like, you're around each other a lot.
You're going down a rabbit hole. There's no real, you can't sew that up.
But
What if you live with a woman and you're with her half the day, and you work with these women and you're with them the other half, and all of them have different period times, but you're with this woman
that's fine.
half the other day.
That's fine.
You know what I mean?
Whatever. That's fine. But so the reason why I bring that up is because
I think you're talking. We gotta really.
Can I fucking finish?
I don't know if you can, because you keep saying you keep breaking off, and I don't know where you're going with it.
Because you ain't letting me fucking finish. That's
all
right.
Right. I'm just saying it's been like an hour and a half podcast, so it's.
So some of these women have their period. Staff is short. Right, because I think that we can agree that some of the cleaning companies don't have extra money to be keeping like 3 and 4 people on the books just cause. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So staff is light. Maybe the job is gets done, but maybe it's not done as proficiently as it was if everyone was there. That's an example of the quality of work being affected. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm gonna give a different example.
For a company that's all women, is what you're saying basically.
I'm not saying it's all women, but like I said, bro. In most cases that I've seen, the majority of the cleaning crews are women.
Good. So we amend certain areas, make sure that if it is a female-oriented job position, that the boss isn't stuck with 10 girls at the same time, all fucking getting all this pay all for free. But
now, wait. That's one example. That's one example. Whatever woman, right? She is an architect.
All right.
She's an architect. We know what an architect does, right? So, working on a plan to build a new casino, right? And she's, the lead drawer or, whatever the title is, I don't know, or the lead architect or whatever, right? So, she's gone for 3 days, right? The timeline for, finishing the design, would that be affected with her not being there?
Nothing would be affected.
Why you don't
Not
think
even
so?
her pay. Nothing would be affected.
Why you don't think so?
Because of the high level of the job you're talking about.
I mean, she's
a head architect,
the lead drawer or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know nothing about that word. I'm just giving it as an example.
Yeah, she's working. She's working anywhere she wants. She's probably got a drafting table in her house.
Okay.
She's doing whatever she's doing. She's working whatever she wants.
Okay. All right.
Zoom has enabled us to do these things.
Right. So technically, she's not missing anywhere.
Right. But
right.
Technically, she's also on salary. Mm-hmm. So even if she missed a fucking
which is why I brought that up in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you don't go to work, you don't get paid, but there's also salary, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? Just covering the bases, right? So there's that, and there's everywhere in between.
But that's not a gloss over. That's not a gloss over
I'm just-
aspect. They
I'm just
wouldn't
covering.
get.
I'm covering. I'm
it.
just. I'm setting the table. Like one end is you don't go to work, you don't get paid. The other end is on salary. I'm just covering the table. You know, everybody
you
falls
work for yourself.
Everybody falls. Sure, you know what I'm saying. But you know, like if you work for yourself, you're an entrepreneur.
Architect.
You know what I'm saying? That's a non-issue.
And architects work for themselves. I'm sorry.
That's fine. But all I'm saying is those are two opposite ends of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? We all fall on it somewhere. That's all I'm saying. Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Got you.
We all
salaried and paid work.
Yeah, we all fall on it somewhere.
Salaried and hourly or weekly paid workers.
Yeah, we all fall on it somewhere, right? Would you agree that most of the population does not fall on that end?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the equality that you asked for, right? You got it. Just women feeling like men had more power.
Women or feminist movements.
Whatever the case may be, it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, would you say it would be fair to assume, or you could look up the information and find out the actual facts that majority of the feminist movement are women?
Run by men. Most of the feminist movements are actually funded by men and started by men. Tampons were made by men. The washing machine was made by men. The entire liberation of women was men. Like we've done everything. We've pulled all the strings.
How do you think women would feel to hear that? Do you think they would be offended to hear you say that?
Some of them, and some of them would agree. Some of them would agree. Some women want to stay home and have babies. Some women want to have a career and be free and all that. You know, and this whole the pill and having abortions and stuff makes women be able to just now say, I'm going to have a future however I want it.
That and all of that's fine because that's your choice in living. I'm talking about work. All I'm talking about is work.
That's what I just talked about, work.
No, but see...
Being able to not have babies and have a career opposed to having babies and not having a career.
Right. But you mentioned wanting to stay home and have babies first. That is about living your life.
Because that's most women.
Right, that is about living your life. That's not about the workplace at all.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about just the workplace. Just whatever it is that you do to generate income to survive. That's all I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. A woman who's not part of a family, a girl who's just, trying to make money. Doesn't have a man.
Whether she has a family or not. You know what I'm saying?
We're just going to make a woman, not attach her to any family structure. She's just a woman.
We'll say,
you're just a man. You're working together in the same workplace.
As a worker.
Right. You're working together now, side by side on the same assembly line.
Sure.
Doing the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. She starts bleeding out her pussy.
If you're not prepared for that or you can't function, go home. Go home. Like, we understand that shit happens. Go home. Right?
All right. Now, besides bleeding, let's take it one step down a notch, okay? Mm-hmm. She's sitting on the line and she's just like, and then she goes to the bathroom once every 15 minutes and throws up a little bit. All right, because that's generally day one of a woman's period. Except if you're the super trooper women, there are super troopers. But generally, day one is a little bit of cramping, maybe even some throwing up, depending what you eat.
Right.
So like, but that's full day one. You don't count the bleeding day because that happens somewhere in the half day usually, like somewhere in the middle of the day that happens. So it's when you wake up the next day, that's what's in question. Do you as a man think that a woman should be taken care of at that point? By us men. Like, takes a village type shit. All men should just understand. Do you think we should take care of that woman who's sick that day? If we know she's going to be sick for at least it's possible she'll be sick for 7 days. We'll give them 3. That's like, because I do want to give something to the women for the period thing. I do feel like, regardless of what history has done, as us men now, right now, we decide what to do with this world. Not saying I have any power, but, we're
talking about mindset.
Yeah, as people should decide what to do now. So, that's what I'm saying. You're standing there side by side with her, and you're not fucking her or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You have, but she's going through these issues. do you think that we should take care of her as men taking care of women? Or should she just suffer and you know, at the end of the week, you got that little bit extra she didn't get, but that's because you don't have those problems. You know what I mean?
In the most raw way, what you said, the second part, is the truth. You know what I'm saying? But it's not really like that. That's how I feel. Like, well, I get a little extra because you can't come to work. No. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's just the outcome. It's not maybe not your
That-
mentality.
Yeah, that's the hard, raw truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's still the fucking truth.
But where the anger comes in, see, you're not going to be mad that she missed a little bit of time. You're not going to be mad that you got to. No, that's not where the anger is coming in from you. The anger comes in, or the disdain for the idea comes in, when it's like she might get a little extra, but that's because she's got something that you don't have to deal with.
But, well, yes, it is that, but it's on the grounds that you asked for equality and fairness and you got it, and now you want some more with this shit.
Man, you're stuck there. That's
No,
the
that's
the
it for
brainwashing.
me.
They've
No, that's
taught
it for
you
me.
that women.
That's it for me.
No, that you're what somebody told you
No.
that women are this like force that has pushed itself into society. Most women do not want what the feminist movement has created. The feminist movement is a small handful of people that are on CNN. So you think, and everybody thinks it's this large organization.
Okay, I believe I'm putting you
It's
like this.
not.
I'm putting you like you.
They
That's fine.
haven't. We haven't given women anything extra.
I mean, bro, like, okay, I hear what you're saying, bro, but see, that's what's being clamored for now.
We haven't given them anything extra. So yes, like the guy who's got
Yet.
all the riches, when you see people start coming and you know in your mind, they're going to ask now. Like, but the only reason you know is because you know they probably should ask, but you know they're going to ask. So it's like locking it down. Fuck all y'all. Back up. Then it becomes a defensive mentality where then you start locking out even the like, you know, it's like on the border. We're locking out not only like illegal immigrants and stuff, but like maybe children who are fleeing to this country, trying to flee. You know what I mean? Like maybe innocent people that really are just trying to get what they need. And by the way, that's most of them. And then you get a whole bunch of fucking, like a handful of retards, pardon my French, a handful of, because retards aren't evil. Retards are actually good clothing. So anyway, you get a handful of people that corrupt the idea. And then it's like then it's just like a media campaign to see how many hearts and minds of people we can change out there. Do you know why feminism is a word and why the feminist movement is something we even know about? Is because it was on the news.
I mean, according to what you described, the feminist movement is what, clamored for equality in the workplace.
It was coming in. No, men already decided that. It was the people of this country saw that we shouldn't have people in chains and working for us, and we worked to get rid of that. And there's a bunch of assholes who wanted to stop us, but we did it. And now we also see some other things, and we're going to change that too. And most people don't get it. And I understand that. That it's like there's like a, hey man, we got to keep a hold of tradition and law and keep things the way they are. Women are women, men are men. I get that. And biologically,
that's what motherfuckers ask for. That's what people ask for.
Right.
And you got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, okay, thank you. Now give me some more. The fuck, man.
Well, how much more do you
Leeching.
need?
It's
That's
leeching.
the question that hasn't been asked.
Leeching.
The question that hasn't been asked is no. It's only leeching to it seems like leeching, but it's not. It seems like leeching if you want to hold everything. Everybody's a leech. If you have everything and you don't want to let it go, everybody's a leech. And for some reason, as men, by the way, you and I, as dudes, don't hold anything. We're not holding all the wealth of the nation to give to women. Just you and me. So it boils down to just the idea of it being something. So to me, that just shows a mental battle. It shows an aggression.
I think it shows a sickness in the world. I think
It
that's what
does.
It shows a sickness in the world.
I agree with you completely. I don't think that at this point, but there's a whole group. I think the sickness is not that big, dude. unless the media allows it or we allow the media to spread it and spread it and spread it. Actually, people just want to have a house and a family. Most people, they just want to do that. And then Hollywood is changing. Like, America's this. Who knows what it is?
I got you, bro, but I put it to you like this, bro. Most people would benefit right along with the rules if it worked in their favor and wouldn't argue or bicker about fairness at all. Straight up.
I want everybody to benefit.
Most people would.
I want everybody to benefit. If you like were sitting in your couch,
no, okay, I'll give you an example.
And then all of a sudden you got a fucking $50,000 fucking add to your account, and you're like, "What's that for?" And they were like, "Oh, men's equality. We've now given you men's equality."
Right.
I'd be happy for you. If I was a woman, I'd be like, oh, "Okay, cool." I mean, if women were getting that too, fine. If everybody's gonna fucking start doing this thing, fine. I don't think that men have earned a period reward though, or a period clause. We don't have that. We haven't earned the period clause. That's all I'm saying. But women, they get it just by default. And some people hate that idea. They're like, no, every human is equal no matter what. But I can't disagree more. Like the gender difference between men and women is so intensely large that
I agree with you.
Physically
yes.
different
In life, yes.
Yes.
Right? But in the workplace, you clamored for gender equality. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all motherfuckers set the terms for this shit.
But all they got was clamoring for gender equality is what they got.
Right.
That's what they have.
Right.
And that was bare minimum.
Right. But it's what the fuck you asked for, and now you want now you coming back for more.
As a man, you should have already thought ahead and said, okay, they want equality, but we should be giving them more than equality. They shouldn't have to ask us for more. As men, why haven't we even noticed them fucking, like, clutching their bloody vaginas? Like, what's going on here? Like, why are we so against even looking at the idea?
You know what? Maybe this brings some logic into it. Maybe it don't. But this is what popped in my head when you said that. All right, it goes back to I don't say an old adage, but an old mindset that I think most would disagree with now or believe is dead and gone. But maybe this answers that question: why it wasn't something I was thought about. Is because the general idea was that men are the workers and women stayed the fuck home. Right? You remember that old mindset? Right? And like but like that was the mindset, right?
Right, but
I'm not saying I agree with the shit, but I'm just saying
elegance,
that I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm saying that's the mindset. You know what I'm saying? So, I believe in this country the moment when that changed here was, what was it? World War I or II, where a lot of the men were at war, so the women had to go to work or some shit like that.
Right.
I think that was the moment. I'm not 100% sure. Somebody fact check me if I'm wrong, but I think, right? So, that was the moment when the shit changed where, you had an influx of women workers, right? Signing the contract, agreeing to the terms, to do the job for this pay. You know what I'm saying? Under very bare minimum terms, you come to work, you get paid. You don't come to work, you don't get paid, right? That's basic terms, right? So,
without taking into account the reason that women weren't working in the first place.
I mean, I'm not saying because they have their period, that's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Bro,
the reason they weren't working is because they're weak individuals, animals. Like, we're animals. I'm an animal. I'm a fucking beast. And I'm fucking gonna go hunt for my fucking wife because guess what? I can lift more. And when I say weak, I only mean, like, I can lift more. And I can travel farther distance.
I know what you're saying.
And she stays at home.
You're making my point.
And she stays at home. But the point's going to go farther.
Go ahead,
because she stays at home. And the reason she stays at home is because it's safe there. There's more safety there. So we're out doing this. Mm-hmm. She's staying safe at home. Mm-hmm. As time goes on, though, and the way... And I'm telling you, the feminist... The original, like, family planning Margaret Sanger, like, back in the day bullshit... like beginnings of this separation of family is why we're in this position now.
I agree.
Men, the men in power have allowed whoever, whether it was men or women, to put women out of the fucking safety of the village. Yeah. So now women are out on their own in the
But
wild, in the
I
workplace.
I also think
It's dangerous and it's not morally right. So when we see that as men, we should take every opportunity. So some guys do it wrong. They try to do things like tax men for things. You know, it's like like that bar owner, coffee shop owner who was like, we're giving a man tax here. So women have to pay this much, men have to pay this little bit extra. And it's not much, it's just pennies. But a lot of people were outraged and the bar got shut down. You know what I mean? Because, no. And I'm like, you know, so there's little attempts to address it. But the outrage culture is just so inherently set right now that we can't even start to begin that I guess that cutesy wootsy nurturing process of love, because I mean fucking
we ain't gonna never be there again.
because who the hell is
We
there?
ain't gonna never be there again.
Well,
Right, but see, I'm gonna
there's
tell
your answer then.
I'm gonna tell you when it changed. But I'm gonna tell you when it changed. You know, going back in history, right? When it changed, as far as women being in the workplace, when the war was over, and you know, most of the men came home. You know, and that's, you know, the ones that did survive. It's like, okay, y'all can go back home now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can go back home now, right? Some at that point didn't want to go back home. They wanted to keep working. Some had no choice because, you know, in some cases probably their men didn't come back home. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, they grew up and came into the age where they had to start working while most of the men were gone. So fuck, I'm already working. I want to keep working. You know what I'm saying? So that's when the influx happened. So that's when, you know, I guess the rules started to change. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, the arguing, the clamoring, and the bickering, you know, for equal opportunity, equal pay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of, in the reverse effect, it's kind of what you described, though, you know, because it's like I said, bro, like the way I see that shit is it's a mindset attached to, you know, to a man tax, for real. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you want the terms to be set equal and shit, but now it's like, you want to, you know, tax us to have to do some work or some extra work while you don't.
That's the problem, though. Like, we gave them equality, quote unquote. Gave them equality. I like to say that, quote unquote thing, because we never. I don't know why it's ours to give, but the fact
we'll say policy gave.
Right. So the fact of the matter is that it was never about equality. It was about yin and yang, and yin and yang is really big on one end and really small on the other for both sides.
Yes.
So like giving them, what we have right now is literally like a heart. We need them to be like this. Is what we need.
Yeah.
We need to give women more and more on this area, and then we take more and more on this area. That's all that needs to happen. I mean,
yeah, but see,
we're going backwards is what we're doing.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But like when you use the words give and take, you know what I'm saying? You know,
it's our greatest ability as human beings to give. It's the only thing you have is to give.
Right. But see, then maybe it's semantics, and maybe the better words is give and then receive. You know what I'm saying? But that works both ways.
But that's the yin and yang effect, and the yin and yang effect. And
okay, I'm gonna give you a different example for a second.
I understand the Republican logic.
Tell me how that yin and yang works in the court system. You know, between a man and a woman, whether it be a domestic dispute or between a man and a woman when it comes to divorce or child custody, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me where the yin and yang is in that shit, bro, because it ain't no fucking yin and yang in that shit at all.
No.
Yeah,
not at all.
At all.
No.
At all. Right? So now that's just starting to spill over into this. I'm just saying, bro. Now that's just starting to spill over into this.
Right. And then what'll happen? What'll happen if it completely soaks us? What would happen then?
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be like what you described way back on the A6 episode. I remember which one it was, where men are going to be stuck inside of something and they're just going to milk our dicks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's possible. If women got to that tyrannical level, though, we would see such a massive uprising that we would go back to the Stone Age.
Like you said, we're going backwards, bro.
Women would be all wearing face coverings and leashes if that happened, because we wouldn't allow anybody to get that tyrannical. that tyrannical. And at this point, because of the way men are, and one thing that I think really we need to put into focus here. I'm not going to name the country, okay? But there is a culture that I've been studying and watching a lot of content on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And just like really trying to like, sometimes you have to actually read obscure articles, you know what I mean, to find things, but it's hard to find obscure articles when CNN and Fox is putting everything in front of your face. Yeah. But there is a country, and it is not unlike other countries in this area, where the men are out of control. Women, I mean, literally are rags to be used and thrown. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean it. And it's and children too. Mm-hmm. So
you mean just children in general or little girls?
Children.
Okay.
In general.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, it's actually the opposite when you get to the children level. And that's really weird, but it's pretty gross. But
I don't want to go there. I just wanted context.
Right. So, but that actually adds to the veracity of the idea that like men. So in this area, we are just getting to this point where we've given them this much, right? But these men over here, they think in their minds that women already have enough. Mm. You know what I mean? They think that. And over here, we think it. Mm. Right? But I'm trying to think, and I'm not, maybe I'm just too weak-minded, but I'm trying to think at this from a transcendental level. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's in how the culture values the women?
Possibly. Or is it possible that... See, okay, does the aggressor become the aggressed? Does the aggressed become the aggressor?
Okay, that's the yin and yang.
You know what I mean? Uh-huh. But that's the vicious cycle. Okay. That's a vicious cycle as opposed to a yin and yang, which is a beautiful occurrence of nature that lives. Vicious cycles destroy, and
right.
It's just like saying,
but life comes from it. You know what I mean? I mean, think about some different natural disasters, for example. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just like saying that
it's a vicious cycle, but then things rebuild.
Yeah, but that's too natural for this conversation. I'm talking about. Go ahead. I'm talking about if white people owned slaves and then killed them sometimes, were horrible to them sometimes, and then freed them, and then the slaves got enough power, would they then be horrible back? Because that would be the vicious cycle.
I got you.
You know what I mean? I'm going to be horrible back to you.
I got you. Yeah.
And try to gain as much power as I can over you now.
I understand.
And destroy you.
I understand.
Like,
I'm with you.
So these kind of vicious cycles, when it comes to like men, especially men and women, and the power that has historically been offset, right? Mm-hmm. It's only not offset here in this country. And we only understand it to that level. Yeah. So, if we're I'm not saying this needs to happen, but I could almost see a reality where instead of, we're now, like the women who have been hijabbed for thousands and thousands of years, now hijab the men. You know? Mm. The only way to do that, honestly, is what we're doing here in the United States, and that's to weaken the male like ego and deflate the male like pride and the male need to nurture family and all that stuff, and just reduce him down to a working
docile little bitch.
Right, who's very willing to accept his own hand and a variety of videos, as opposed to having an actual life and a wife and a family, right? As long as the money, the food, and the brand new porn content is coming in, you know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck, right? That's what we're creating, and the reason to do that is so that we can just push men down, make it basically illegal to be an alpha male. You know what I mean? Like, you could do that. You could implement rules in society slowly but surely that make it to where if an alpha male shows up, you can throw him in jail because he said something sexist or he said, you know what I mean? You could do that. Like, oh,
throw him in jail, put him somewhere. He said something. As of right now, I hear they're trying to make any MAGA material illegal. The same way Germany made Nazi materials illegal. That's what they're trying to do with Trump stuff.
That's so weird though, because the sad part about it is, bro, it's like, you know, MAGA is an acronym for Make America Great Again. You know what I'm saying? And if you just take the acronym for what it is, you know what I mean? You know, if you love this country, don't you want it to be great? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I mean, like, that's a simple principle. You know what I mean? So I don't even get the logic behind, you know, trying to do something like that. If you take the acronym exactly for what it says.
I got it. Trump said make America great again. The Democrats said America was never great, right?
Or it was always was great, or I don't know.
They say it was never great because
Okay.
we destroyed the land to get it.
Yeah.
We killed everybody to get it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So America was never great. Slaves and all that stuff. Anyway, let me.
Okay.
You shut me down. You shut me down. I have a triangle.
Okay, so
I have a triangle.
okay,
Wait,
maybe
wait.
the new mindset is just MAG, Make America Great. I don't know.
No. Listen.
Go ahead.
Trump says, "Make America great again." Great again.
Yeah.
The Democrats and many people say it was never great, right?
Mhm.
Fast forward to this week, Biden says America's a great country. Trump did it.
Yeah.
America's great now. But who
Yeah.
knows how long it's going to stay that
I
way
mean-
now the Democrats are, because still haven't got my unemployment.
So I mean, see the thing about it is you say it that way, motherfucker. Like, no, he didn't. Joe Biden did it. Blah 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 blah.
No, he didn't do anything yet. All he did was sign some papers and nothing's changed yet.
Right, I agree, but that's still what a lot of people would say in response.
Except for the pipeline workers. The Keystone
Yeah,
Pipeline
yeah,
workers,
yeah,
they
yeah.
had to stop working
I
immediately.
did hear about
and the people on the wall had to stop working immediately. But
I did hear about that.
that's, that doesn't make us great.
Right, I mean, now that's people without jobs. You know what I'm saying?
That makes us
most
kinda
of them,
hurt.
Most
Yeah.
of them are not making money.
That hurt us a little bit. Right.
You know what I'm saying? But but if you take it, like I said, if you take the acronym for what it is, just the notion, the desire, if you will, to be great, then yes, you could say, what Trump wanted, he succeeded at. Then you could say it that way. You know what I'm saying? When motherfuckers like, so, no, that's bullshit. No, that's bullshit. Joe Biden did it.
It's the same thing as people who try to put body counts on presidents.
Yeah.
And then literally the day that Biden gets inaugurated, so half that day is Trump's and half that day is Biden's.
Look,
How
that's ridiculous.
stupid can you
it's
be?
ridiculous. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
And for people to like, I
They
can't.
were on that shit. That's what I'm saying. They were on it hard. They were on that shit. Like, I'm talking about sticking to their guns on that shit. Like, jeez.
Like I seen a post that was like, now all the people who were saying not to put those deaths on Trump are going to start piling deaths on Biden, right? And I was like, wait a minute, so you're one of the people who was saying that all the deaths were on Trump? Because the poster doesn't really realize, the OP, the person who's posting, sometimes doesn't really realize that where they're coming from. They think it's a good idea what they're saying, what they're posting, the meme that they're posting, but they don't even realize that coming from their side, it's wrong. Like, I can't understand people now. Like, what? Dude, the water is fucking poisoned. The water is poisoned, and people are literally fucking putting fucking forks in their soup. That's literally what's happening. People are eating fucking tomato soup with a fork. And they think you're stupid for trying to hand them a spoon. Because what's this guy doing standing up over here trying to tell me I'm wrong? Get the fuck out of my face. I was like, no, just take the spoon. Fucking asshole, get away. Get away from our table. You know what I mean? Get away from our table. We are fucking happy over here with our forks, eating our fucking water. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's supposed to be soup. Now you're eating water. Yes, we're drinking water with our shoes. What the fuck? That's just getting to this point where it's like, fucking don't forget to freeze your sunglasses in milk. and everybody's going to think it's right. And I am literally watching people just make the dumbest calls. And I'm one of them, right? Because I could totally be, but that's why I'm saying I want to look at things from all angles. As I think it may be, I'm a Libra. They say Libras always do this. I don't know why I do it, and I don't know why I'm a Libra. But maybe there's some truth to that. You know what I mean? But I have to try to transcend the fucking process. Like, if I look at it from a woman's point of view, I don't know, man. I can just see both sides. I can see everything. And I also see the anger from everybody. I see the disdain of what's going on. And we're not angry. Men and women are not angry at each other. We're not angry at each other anymore. Blacks and whites, we're not angry at each other anymore. We're angry at the fucking system that's fucking buzzing us up and riling us up all the time. You know? If you turn on the news and the news tells you something that makes you angry, the news just made you angry. Not the thing you heard. Because that man that fucking...
So shoot the messenger.
The man that shot the black guy off in Tennessee somewhere, like shot some black dude, you know what I mean? That didn't hurt you. And it didn't offend you. Because you did not know about it at all. And it was one thing. There's going to be legislation and all that kind of shit's going to go on in that case. There's going to be a case, you know? Cops get involved. All kinds of shit happens over there. Right. That's their business.
Right.
That's the business between some asshole and somebody he hurt and their family.
Right.
None of our business.
Right.
If the news makes you mad about that, that's the news making you mad, not that thing. Because even if that thing happened, if you don't know, you don't know. You don't care. Because you know right now that there is somebody out there doing something really bad to somebody that doesn't deserve it. You know that's happening right now, right?
Yeah.
But we're not angry about it, right? We're not sitting here freaking out. I'm not freaking out because because this little one is getting hurt by this big one. I'm not doing it because I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it. I don't even know if it's actually happening. You know, there could be, right now, there could be a lull in murders in the world. And no murders happen for like 30 seconds. You know, who knows? Like, but for the news to bring it to your face, that's them deciding how you feel. That's them changing things. That's them changing the narrative. Because honestly, it is very possible for the news to make it look like that there is a war against white people. If the news wanted to, they could show every single hate crime in the United States and not show any of the other vice versa hate crimes.
Right.
And make everybody think that, like,
whites are under attack. And shit.
Right. They could do that. And that's what they've done. And they're doing it. They actually are doing that now. Don't you see it? Whites are under attack now, aren't they? For being white. Like
Eminem?
Literally, companies are like saying white males need not hire.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, man, I've seen Disney. Like, it was Disney. And then the fucking guy who put it up got fired because it got outrage. But still, like...
Yeah, because, it's
deep inside these...
That's discrimination.
Right.
Yeah.
But...
Is that's not fair.
But is it? Can we change legislations now? Can we go in and change and rewrite some laws now?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay, but see, here's the thing, bro. I'm not white, you know what I'm saying? But, I am biracial or whatever. But, like, let's just for the sake of argument say Jim Crow, as a nigga, right? So I'm black. Even though, somebody will look at me and, okay, you know what? His skin's light, but he's probably not pure white or whatever. So whatever, legislation was passed that said a company could decide not to hire, a worker because they're white. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that would affect me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that shit's still not fucking fair, bro.
No,
that's not fucking fair.
But there's already actually lots of organizations and stuff that are just for people of color and people of national descent or whatever. You know what I mean? Like. Whites need not apply. I tell you one thing though, I'm not
like the NAACP, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was run. The Philadelphia chapter was run by a white lady who was pretending to be black.
Yeah.
Or was it Philly? I think it was Philly. I may be wrong
I
about
don't
the
remember
chapter.
city, but I remember who you talking about. I remember that
I may be
shit.
wrong about the
I
chapter.
remember that shit because they made a big deal about that shit. That was funny as fuck, man.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying. But but in essence, though, that kind of dispels the myth about why that shit's not fair because like it's like y'all niggas were deceived the whole time, and she was doing a fine fucking job while she was there, despite the fact that she was a white woman, and she knew it. You know what I'm saying? She,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? She knew that she was a little white girl. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Like I can't argue what her intent was because I don't know her. I ain't never had a conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna cover the bases. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Maybe she just felt more connected to niggas. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe her idea was to be deceptive, but like I can infiltrate these niggas. I don't know which one.
The weed tried to make me not say what I'm trying to say.
But she was down with Black Hawks.
Well, she was riding the baloney ponies.
Yeah, she likes BBC.
She was riding the
Sure, that's
the
fine.
baloney ponies of all the bronies.
That's fine. You know what I'm saying? If she enjoys the shit, more power to you. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that dispels the rumor right there about why that shit would still not be fair because she was obviously proficient. You know what I'm saying? Despite the fact that she was white in an organization like, no, we don't hire whiteys. You know what I'm saying? That's fucked up. But she's an example that dispel why that shit is bullshit. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Real shit.
But they didn't know.
It doesn't matter.
Once they knew, gone.
Right. And she should be able to sue them for that shit. For real, for real. She should be able to sue them for that.
She can't.
She cannot.
She can't do that.
Why not?
Because, I mean, honestly, I think she could probably be sued for fucking fraud. She could be sued. I mean, for it's their club, it's their rules. You can't sue somebody for kicking you out of the No Karens Allowed club, right? Nobody named Billy's.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Nobody named Billy's allowed in my club.
NAACP is a 501c3? Like a non-profit group or some shit?
It's an 81876, I think.
What's that? That's still some sort of non-profit?
It's some kind of number with a couple letters in there.
I mean, just only reason why I'm trying to understand is just because, like, are they, classified as a company?
I'm
like
not sure.
A business entity
They
or
probably
non-profit?
they probably get some kind of
You know what I'm
nonprofit.
saying?
Yeah, they're a nonprofit.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because, I believe, if you're a nonprofit group, you know what I mean, some of the things you can do are a little different. You know what I'm saying? I don't know for sure. But irrespective, you know what I'm saying, let's just say for the sake of argument, they are classified as a company. You know what I'm saying? Then choosing to discriminate based off of race is corrupt. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, they've been around for a long time, so, my nigga, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Because it's not like the government hasn't known about this for a long time, so that's, even more fucked up. Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
that looks like a prime example of some reverse racism. I'm just saying. But like I said, that white woman dispelled the rumor, man. And them niggas probably mad about that shit. They're like, fuck, man.
well, the rumor is that fucking everything is going to be stripped away and that it's going to be legal to start discriminating based on anti-discrimination laws. So we just flip the anti-discrimination laws around so that it's legal to discriminate against white people, people of color, which is only white people,
Right.
right? You know what I mean? People of color is everybody, and white people is non-people of color.
Yeah.
So you just flip that around and.
I mean, it's like, bro.
But how long can you do that? Because honestly, if you look at the histories of the world, you know what I mean? You go ahead and enslave white people for 100 years, and then, it's over. Now we got to go back. Now we get to rise up and fucking, what?
Yeah, that's that vicious cycle you talking about, bro. I mean, just like motherfuckers want it fair, man. And shit should be based off of merit and nothing else. For real, for real.
Well, I don't think anybody wants it fair anymore. I think what they want to do is just create.
They want to get everything they can get for themselves.
They want to create a utopia. They already know how to do it. Listen, man, can you imagine if, like, you were the only person on the world? You and your family and your friends? Can you imagine if it was just you and you had jets and planes and you could go anywhere in the world and do whatever you want?
Like at some point though, that would still get pretty lonely though, bro.
It would. Now think you can populate this place, right? Oh, let's keep a couple people over here. We'll keep a good group of people over here in this country. We'll keep a good group of people over here, us over here, and them over there, and we'll all keep in contact, and we'll always fly to each other's fucking countries. You know what I mean? Because it's free. Gas is free. If we get rid of everybody and then it's just us, then everything will be free.
Yeah.
Everything's free
Okay,
then.
so what you're talking about is population control.
Right. Now I was also thinking.
Trimming a lot of the fat
Right.
and a lot of the meat.
Now, how could you kill a whole bunch of people in like a city?
COVID-19.
How could you kill them all? Yeah, but it's not like that. Your body develops immunities and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But COVID-19 could very well be the nice softener, right?
Mm-hmm.
You take the vaccine, which alters your DNA. Then they can release their biological weapon that attracts only people of that DNA.
God damn.
So everybody who didn't get the shot does not die. I repeat, if you didn't get the shot, you do not die. Life goes on for you. If you did get the shot,
You're about here.
yeah,
Rest in peace.
it could be as simple as a sound wave around the earth, or like a fog going over the, anything. It could be as simple as anything that could just trigger it. You know what I mean? Like a lightning storm. Oh, everybody's, you know what I mean? With that DNA, that day, that's it. They're literally talking. Dude, I'm just picturing like Bill Gates sitting there thinking, how can I rule the world? Right? Like, how can I rule the world? And the funny thing is, the celebrity status has reached a level now where presidents of countries, rulers of countries, worship these celebrities. Like, who did Kim Jong-un have come to?
Dennis Rodman.
He loved,
Dennis Rodman.
Right. I'm not saying he did a good job, but at the same time, when he met Dennis, he recognized Dennis's power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the same thing with like the president of the United States or the head of CEO of fucking Walmart. When he meets Bill Gates, there's a celebrity thing.
I got you.
Bill Gates is just like, I own everything, but you know what I mean? I started this whole thing. I know all the ins and outs of it. I'm not like Steve Jobs out there trying to show you windows. I'm on the inside building.
Yeah, Steve Jobs is dead though.
Right. So Bill Gates, I think by the way, Bill Gates is not as powerful as he thinks he is anymore.
Well, remember,
But his celebrity status has
Yeah.
gotten him the actual power.
Yeah.
He's not as
as
powerful
far as the money.
in the AI and in the computers.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's as deep now and powerful.
No. Remember, like there was a while back where the government forced him to split his company. Remember that shit?
Right.
Yeah, because he was like, "Nah, you taking over and shit."
But it's his.
Still his brainchild.
Yeah, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So he has been able to bring everybody in on a plan. And I mean, it's like sitting down at a good fucking TED Talk where a guy really, really convinces you of something.
Yeah.
And if you break it down from just like the beginning of the earth, man, and like how people came onto it and the way it's gonna go, and by judging by this timeline, the only thing to do is this to make this happen. And this is the only possible outcome we want, right, guys? You know what I mean? Like, if you can convince people of that, then you can.
Yeah. You have the people in place to do things.
Right. Now, what kind of people do you have to convince? Kamala Harris, AOC, Joe Biden. These are the people you have to convince because they're the ones that are actually behind the scenes, like pulling the tapes, making sure like that we all think certain things by the news. They're running the news. Hillary Clinton, the high power Democrats, they're like really like nefarious. I'm not saying the Republicans aren't, but Jesus, man, they're in a clique. They're clicked up like high school, and that clique is the ones who are going to live through anything that happens, and everybody else does not exist to them. You know, it's like an ant. It is like an ant. Like you see a person suffering, like if you're in that group of power and you see a person suffering, you don't go, "Oh, look at your poor human suffering." You don't do that. You see a person in power and you just maybe even hate them if they're like low to the ground and humble. You know, humble people, poor people.
Yeah, look at you, you're nothing.
Exactly.
You're exactly the kind of people that we need gone.
Right.
I can see it.
That's a mental exercise I like to do. I call it putting myself at the table, and I like to think about world leaders and what their ideas and thoughts and what they would do. You know what I mean? Like if given a long enough time frame, given all the information, what should we do about everything? Because I was thinking about this in the very beginnings of slavery, right? Now, I'm going to start this sentence off wrong. When the white man brought the black man to America and made them work as slaves. That's wrong immediately because the white man did not bring the black man to America. It was like Arabs sold blacks over here. Arabs with with African translators and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there were some South African traders who were like Australian or something. I'm sure there was a few, but the white people here didn't bring anybody here. We just did what everybody else did, and we bought from the same dealer that everybody else bought from. Right? Now, here's called sitting at the table. All right, we got all these black people. We're bringing them into work, right? And we're going to build ourselves a nice, big, beautiful society. But we know for a fact that people have sex and breed. We know that. So, procreation will eventually cause African Americans to outnumber us. What do we do about that? So, did the white man initially, at the table talk, when figuring things out, have a plan to exterminate and control the number of African Americans born? Because that would have been an immediate topic at the table. When you think about bringing anything into anywhere, you think about it.
They used to castrate some of them, bro.
Right. So we established that now, right? Do you think that they only planned that to be for like 50 years? Or 100 years? Or do you think that they were like, what can we do to keep things rolling? Do you know how long ago Margaret Sanger was running shit? A long fucking time ago. I mean, we're talking, dude.
Like, I'm guessing she's like in her 70s or some shit.
She's dead.
Okay.
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, you know that shit's still running, right?
Yep. She died in 1966, okay? She popularized the term birth control, opened the first birth control clinic in the United States, and established organizations evolved into Planned Parenthood Federation of America. So,
like abortion related shit.
right,
Okay.
right. The only problem with this is in her Wikipedia, they accredit her with this.
Okay.
But she was also a well-known eugenist and nationalist, like supremacist.
What's a eugenist?
She was a Democrat. A eugenist is a person who believes that the genes of people make them superior to others.
Okay.
That black people being here.
Yeah.
So the Democratic Party initially was the slave party. They're the ones who brought the slaves, or that bought the slaves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're the ones who decided what we're going to do. They only can have this much of this and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That's all the Democrats. They were trying to keep a lid on it because if really what happened if we really actually had freed the slaves the way we wanted to, or the way at least I think maybe, depending on what side I was on, which would depend on my family and where I lived, right? So depending, if I was on the good guy side, I would be like, all right, free the slaves. And then the slaves would have by now outnumbered us. Very quickly, right? But the Democrats were like, we can't have that. We're going to keep all these things in place. But because all these new laws are coming out and all these emancipation proclamations are hitting, we have to change our role. We have to change our gear. And the Planned Parenthood project was put in place to keep African Americans under population control. That was literally the purpose of it. Margaret Sanger was evil, you know? But she was existing and she had her thing going on way the fuck back in the fucking 40s, 30s and 40s.
1930s, 1940s.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's way back when...
Yeah, that's almost 100 years ago.
When things were still raw.
That's like 90 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
That's things were still way raw. We couldn't quite figure out how to place people. But now her organization has reached like a level where there's one in every city. And the amount of people that have not become people because of these facilities is unprecedented.
Probably more than the populations of some countries and shit in totality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How do we reconcile all of these things and all? You know, because that's another instance where women are actually preyed upon. Because the court system, they say, oh, it works in favor of women, right? I watched, and it was very easy for me as a man who got swindled by the court for its kids and pushed out of the house, right? As a man to be bitter. So I took that bitter stance and I understood it. What does it mean? Yes, the court's fucked up. But after deep consideration and deep observation of the other side, being, i.e., my baby's mother, the manipulation and terror and fear tactics that they use on those women to get them into their system away from the men, it's mental terrorism. Like the girl that I'm talking about.
Like, if you don't, this will happen. If this happens, you'll never see the kids again, or some shit like that.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Okay.
You know.
See, I've never been through that shit, so I can't relate. But I'm just spitballing.
And without the man physically there to say, "Honey, listen, wake up." You know what I mean? We got to think about this together.
Yeah.
Without the man there.
Yeah, they react in that fear. You know, but the thing is, like, I assume they also sweeten the deals. Like, you know, if you do this, you know, we'll give you this and give you a place to live and all of this type of shit.
Exactly.
Like Section 8 and
exactly.
shit like that.
You know, got your first car, even though, like, as a family, we struggled, you know what I mean, to get one car, let alone get you your own.
Yeah.
But through the government, you got your own car, got a place to live, food.
Right. So, you know, that whole example right there is prevalent everywhere.
Exactly.
That's prevalent everywhere.
But to blame the woman, believe me, is a flaw, because although she is to blame for her own actions, right? She's also being manipulated by a larger and more nefarious being. And I mean, if you believe in any type of like religious aspect of the world, then you understand that there can be an overlord that like makes you do things. You know what I mean? That has the power and the understanding of you.
This whole machine right here was started by a woman, bruh. Just saying.
Yeah, but her cohorts too. You know, a lot of times women like that.
Right, but it was her brainchild.
But a lot of times women like that who are that, we don't know if it's her brainchild. That's the thing.
Okay.
Because a lot of times when you get a woman who's overly shows a lot of man qualities and stuff, they're trying to impress other men that are like-minded. Okay. So they have a group of guys. Maybe she was led into this group of powerful men, and she felt special. So she started emulating them and started thinking the same way they do. Whereas generally speaking, women hold a more...
That's 11 strings right there, bro.
Well, yeah, but she's an extreme, and she started the movement. She started the legislation that got it into our cities.
Exactly.
So, but most women aren't like that.
Yeah, I hear you, but by that standard, bro, it's like, I mean, nigga, you know, you could place the blame on that woman, and that shit just spiraled out of control, bro.
Talk about spiraling out of control. I wonder if anybody's gonna listen to a full 2 hours of us talking. I mean, we used to do 3-hour podcasts, and I don't give a fuck if we do a fucking 10-hour podcast. To be honest, I'll upload the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? And let people fucking see it for what it is, and however they fucking, if they manage to catch through, if they manage to not completely disagree with everything we're saying and click out, then fuck it. You know what I mean? Like,
some motherfuckers might get enraged and shit at certain points and shit. You made that far, you a trooper. But yeah, man. This shit is enough to make your head hurt, man, because it's constant. It's like styles clashing every which way you turn and shit. You know what I'm saying?
dude, oh my god, I gotta tell you something, man, because I had this fucking weird ass fucking. I keep talking about my dreams, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason in my dreams, I keep writing. Like I keep writing a book or something, right? And then. And I wake up with these weird ideas. And this morning I woke up with a crazy, crazy idea that like in Africa right now, life is hard. It's not going well. The white colonizers from Australia who showed up and colonized, there's wars going on with them right now. You know what I mean? They're killing each other. Land
In
is
your dream.
No. This is real life.
Okay.
It's just in my dream, I kind of had the vision of it. Like, I saw it all happening, right?
Okay.
And then I saw a group of Africans being taken away from there and taken over to another place where, like, they were given the chance to legitimately thrive and create a new, fresh start to the black race. As opposed to what was happening and still is happening in the continent of Africa. Right? The only thing I can't come to terms with is the actual killing of them. Like, if they're your slaves and you're killing them. But otherwise, let's just say if they weren't slaves, it would have been the best thing ever, right? It just would have happened sooner that they came over and lived a whole new fresh life. Because honestly, what the African and this is so weird to think about this, and I hate to say it, and I don't know how to say it right, okay? But if today people from Africa are applying to come to America, you know what I mean? But there are some who
like visas, apply for citizenship, asylum,
right.
Shit.
But there is a group of black people called African Americans who were brought in on the ground level and have been grandfathered in, and you could say are America. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm America, you're America, and it was all built together. I don't know how to explain it.
Just spit it out.
Did the white people pick the black people almost like a recruiting process, like who's the best? Who would blend with us the best over time? Or did they actually intend on killing everybody that they used as slaves?
I don't know.
Because it doesn't make sense. It's like there's two options. It's like, was it a recruiting thing? Was it like, hey, because I think that if,
like, I mean, I don't see. I think the part that's tough, man, is assuming that people that long ago had that much forward thinking in their intellect. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive back then. You know what I'm saying? I can't even, relate to the mindset of some of those people back in that time. And I'm sure some of them were very barbaric and brutal. You know what I'm saying? But I can't gauge the other end of that spectrum. You know what I'm saying? I can't say there was people that were forward thinking back then, like Bill Gates now, or Steve Jobs now, or Dr. Martin Luther King. Just to throw out a couple names that just popped in there. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel like they knew that there would be population, that there would be populating among the black community, even if they were as slaves. there would still be
that part I can see.
I think they knew that.
At that part I can see. I mean, you know, if we were gonna say it very crudely and shit, we know those niggas are gonna fuck. We're gonna say it crude. We know those niggas are gonna fuck.
All right, they are gonna fuck.
Right. So you know what I'm saying.
But that's only no. But you have to actually give to the idea that there are people who bought slaves and didn't even refer to them as slaves and actually treated them like people. It did.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I wasn't alive, bro.
From what I understand,
I wasn't alive.
From what I understand, my history, from reading my history,
Okay.
and from if you're a slave owner and you are vicious to your slaves, you're not liked by the others,
Right.
the other people in the communities, because
I don't know. Okay, you talk about like as far as like other plantation owners and shit like that. You mean?
right. Now I know that there's a lot of different narratives. Like if you watch Django,
Yeah.
it's like everybody's kind of fucked up, and they send you to the mean guy for punishment. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But from what I understand and from what I've been told,
Okay.
it wasn't exactly like that.
Okay.
And that it was almost like if it hadn't been forced, it would have been the perfect union. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we'll put it like this: the whole struggle with the shit, really, if you think about it, bro, the whole struggle with it had to do with money. If you think about it, because you know, it's like, you know, basically motherfuckers got kidnapped and got sold. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're my property. Like, you're worth this much to me.
Which is another fucked up thing,
You know what I'm
because the
saying?
United States started itself, right? Why didn't we just not do the money thing? What, we couldn't think of some other way? If we were going to start a whole new fucking thing, right? Could we not have, didn't we? I just, I don't know, man.
But see, the thing about it is, bro, the money, like I said, the transaction upon trading cash for flesh. Right?
We turned cash in, but spices was what it was. Necessities, gold, spices, arrowheads. You know what I mean? Furs.
But it got to that point. You know what I'm saying? But the idea of cash for flesh, like, created a power structure. You know what I'm saying? Over, you know, another sentient being. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, like those other objects you mentioned are not sentient; they're just objects.
Right. Well,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
people hit celebrity status and don't give a fuck about the people at the bottom.
Yeah.
Power. You reach your power. You get your celebrity status, and slaves are slaves. And yeah, I get you. Like, you know what I mean? the money becomes the main thing. The power, money and power.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could argue a celebrity, you know, sees other people as shit, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, they still see it as people.
Some of them.
I mean, yeah, okay, yes, but I mean, what do you think some other people think? You're nothing? Like, you're a slave still or something?
Well,
What
no,
do you
I think some people. There are some people who are just maniacal. I mean, in general, though, you're right. I believe everybody in general, even if you're a celebrity, has some humanity to you, right? But I also believe that a homeless man is more likely to help me personally if I ask him than Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I do. Like, if I was like, hey man, can you help me out with a couple bucks to eat? If the homeless guy has it, he most likely will try to help me.
Probably because he could relate more.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he sees me for my humanity.
Mm-hmm.
A person and a person.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you got boils and you're missing teeth.
Right.
I'll still help you. We'll
Right.
chill, drink a beer together.
Right.
You know, whereas you get to this level of people who are like, dude, you're wearing last week's Yeezys. He's had the new ones out for a week and you're still wearing those. You know what I mean? Like, there literally it gets to that point.
Yeah.
It gets to that point.
Well, yeah, see, yeah, that's that celebrity shit.
Right, and people start bullying each other. And then that teaches the kids to start bullying down. And the kids, they're not poor because they got parents. Most parents have some money, not all, but I'm saying, but the kids are going to start doing their thing because the government actually is going to take care of the kids a little bit. School lunches and shit like that, you know what I mean? They need to keep their humanity is what they need to do. And we need to find a way to undo what's happening right now. Everybody knows it. And with Biden's new rules that he's put into place and the things that he's undone, he has completely attacked the natural world. He's attacked the natural world. Everything that we as people do naturally is becoming criminalized. I mean, one of the first things that Biden signed was the thing that says that men can compete in women's sports events. That is a thing now.
Like as far as like
Legally.
just being a man or like being like trans.
Well, I'm sure you'll have to identify
Okay.
as a female.
I'm just making sure.
Right. But, I mean, I was just watching this interview with this girl. She's a track girl, and she was like, well, I mean, it's just hard getting into like when your mom asks you, like, who's the strongest, who do you think is going to win? Do you think you can win? Go out there and do your best, try to get the gold. And I know for a fact that I'm going to be third place because there's 2 men on the team. And all the women, we're vying every day, working to shave a tenth of a second off of our run.
Right.
You know what I mean? To try to see who's going to be third.
Yeah. Right, because we're competing against men who say they're women.
2 men who just go. You know what I mean? They just run the fuck off and they're gone while we're just running and competing with each other for third place. The men are going to get the gold and whatever prize, money or whatever comes with that. Who knows? You know what I mean? Endorsement.
That shit is sick.
It's disgraceful, man.
That shit is sick.
It takes me back to the whole we need to protect women and the sanctity of women and start recognizing more what it is to be them. And it's just somebody's got to start the cycle. Somebody's got to start it, man. The vicious cycle has to end with, somebody has to say, okay, I'm going to start treating you according to what I think God's law should be. Or my, what I think we should be.
Right, but see, the moment you mention God's laws and shit, you know what I mean? Then,
in my mind, everybody's got a different God. Even if you're an atheist, you have a moral. What's your moral law?
I feel you. Like, we didn't think, I feel where you coming from. You know what I'm saying? But the way the shit operates here, bro, is separation of church and state, so they don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
Yep. Well, that's how they're pulling all of this off. That's how all of this is getting pulled off right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it is true that regardless of whether religion is real or not,
There's a seed burning right there. God damn it.
regardless, damn, that's crazy. I wish I would have found that. I would have planted it. But it's weird because no matter if religion is real or legitimate or false or just a complete hoax, everywhere that there is religion today is a little more peaceful. And when I say peaceful, I mean the people themselves, aside from like attacks and people doing bad shit, they're not as fucked up as we are as far as anxiety. I think humans are set in America, Americans, we're now set to this high level like vibration. Like we can't calm down. We're anxious all the time as people. Like, I mean, even in our deepest state of calm, like we have to meditate and try to transcend to reach these levels, levels that are what we're only seen in like war-torn countries. You know what I mean? Like,
It's like constant state of flux. Fuck, man.
so, welcome back to the Andy and Virtue Comedy Hour. Oh, man. It's funny too, man, and I keep saying it's funny, but it's not funny, so this is not comedy at all. We just have these weird conversations, but they always end up being so ironic that there's a joke in there somewhere. You know what I mean? There's jokes in every irony. Every irony is just littered with and twisted with jokes, and my sick mind wants to, like, you know what I mean, spout them at every moment. But when it comes to the specific topic, like the one we started off with today, it took me to this other place where I was like, I see, man, it's not easy to be a woman. It's not easy to have just that fucking, It's not easy to be a man because you have all these expectations on your shoulders, right? It's not easy to be a man because you actually, physically have to you die earlier. There's like it's not easy to be a man for lots of reasons. It's not easy to be a woman either. And the things that I see them going through, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I don't have to go through that at all. And like to be like, and let's just say I'm harvesting positivity, gladness from that aspect. You know what I mean? Just from the fact that they are harvesting like this negative thing. It happens all the time. Like they are going to have to think about their lives from either I'm going to be with a man or I'm not. Not like what am I going to be with my life. It's like either I'm going to be with a man or I'm not. You know what I mean? What I do as a career is like almost secondary. Oh, that's why everybody turns to like, oh, I'll do art. Or I'll do, something like that. Because they didn't actually think about what they're good at. People aren't thinking about what they're good at. They're just thinking about what they are physically. I'm a straight white male. You know what I mean? Like, and because of that, I don't like anything that goes against my straight white male mentality. Like, bullshit, man. Like, I understand Republican logic, and it's necessary when it comes to legislating certain ideas, especially like safety and shit like that. Yeah. I mean, when you've got like other countries that want to send a missile, maybe, are trying maybe. Like, maybe we should have some kind of defense for that. Maybe we should have certain things set up. Yeah. Maybe we should have, like, more security as far as just who we allow in our courtyard. America's basically, it used to be, that's the way it was. It was like our courtyard. The country's courtyard. And, you just want to make sure that everybody's got good intentions when they're there.
Right, but, the framework for a lot of shit that's been happening over a lot of years is not like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of people with ill intent, and they enacting on it real hard.
Well, they've incentivized ill intent. They've made it to where like, hey, if you fight for this cause, you'll get something out of it. You know what I mean? And if that cause is something that even is logically false, but you're going to go for it anyway because you're going to get something out of it, that means they're training you to have ill intent. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, on the surface and that it's cool because you're being deceptive.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Knowing something changes everything in my mind. That's what I've always thought about a lot of these fucking mental illnesses. Certain mental illnesses they've talked about. Yeah. I've thought to myself, no. Once you know something that changes, you should be able to stop it. I understand if you don't understand what's happening and your mind is like you keep flipping out about things and you don't understand why. But then once you realize it, you're like, oh, okay. Even at that moment where you realize I'm flipping out about something and I don't know what it is, okay, let me stop and think, okay, I get it now. I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, I always thought mental illness was just like certain mental prescriptions they give people. Like the idea of borderline personality disorder is that basically you're a schizophrenic, drug addict, OCD, unusable person because you just lazy and don't want to do anything except get high, and you're an addicted person. Like, so they're calling that borderline personality disorder instead of calling it
lazy druggie.
Oh yeah, a lazy guy who likes to smoke all the time and fucking thinks about fantastical shit all day because he doesn't have anything real to focus on. That's one good thing about like working at a print shop that I miss right now, and I am about this close to just calling it quits, calling off my little unemployment thing and just going back to a print shop because I know where there's one hiring, I think, but still, man, it's like, well, okay, when I'm working, I don't think about that kind of shit though. I just work and work and work. And it feels good because by the end of the day, Have you ever had like even this being a like a literal focused conversation gives you a headache if you do it for too long?
Yeah.
Right.
Too much subject matter.
Exactly. You get a headache if you do this shit for too long, man. Like me, myself, I know I'm on the borderline right now. I have to do something to decompress
You need to gut it.
and like let nothing happen. That's what I need.
You need to gut it.
Right, right. But, yeah, man, I think it's important to have a job. That's why it's important to have a job. Because a job gives you that mundane thing where you can go on autopilot. And then the things you think about tend to be a little less fucking stressful, unless you're just manic. You know, I've been manic at work. You know what I mean? At work, working, pissed to death about something. Taking every 3 seconds that I can to fucking send a text message real quick and then fucking going back to work because I'm pissed. Wishing to God I could just leave now and go fucking handle some business. But generally speaking, no, work's pretty therapeutic. And having a job and a career has helped my life immensely. And I would hate it if I had to take off 3 days a month because I didn't feel good. I would love it if they paid me for it. That would make me feel like they appreciated me, and then I'd probably do more when I was there.
Okay.
Be more involved.
Okay, but that's not the case, right? That's not the case for you, right? So, you know, what you describe is, you know, a desire to get back to work and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? You go back to work and, you know, and that's what the policy is shaped like. Oh, by the way, you know what I'm saying? You know, all the women get, 3 days off and shit, and they get paid for it regardless, bro. But you got to be here every day to work for your money.
And then all the women are cheering and the men aren't cheering, and it's just like the little brother when the sister's birthday comes.
No, that's not nice.
That's what I think. That's what I think. You can't shake me on that one.
That's fine, man. Whatever. You feel how you feel. I ain't telling you can't feel how you feel.
Right. I mean, a lot of guys are like that. Maybe it's not you specifically, but from the man up culture, basically, like where we're sick of women. That's how they would prescribe that. Definitely, it's definitely how. Was it man's rights culture? It's what's the thing? Men's rights. We want all our rights too. And I personally think that it's not that we need to join in and we need to stop the fucking madness at the source. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, really, I think that is the core of it, though, to stop the madness. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, stopping the madness would help things immensely.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, in my opinion, the madness is too far gone.
Well,
Like,
macho
madness. Yeah.
We'll close this out with, we're not angry at each other. We just fucking get deeply into debate. And then once that happens, especially, I'm hangry. I need to go eat some food, so.
Yeah.
Get rid of this guy, man. Throw him off the balcony. He keeps on hanging out, like, out back and out front, wherever I keep shit.
Don't believe that shit.
I don't know. It's like sleep in your car, man. Don't sleep in my neighbors.
Right. Out back by what is it? By the AC units in the corner.
Outback sounds good, dude.
Of course, neither one hit him. That's fucking bullshit, but okay.
Why are you cussing around kids?
What are you talking about? I'm seeing no damn kids here.
Just,
It's a child's game. What the fuck are you doing?
it's a child's game and you're cussing.
What's wrong with you? You're a fucking maniac. You should be locked away forever.
My name is Virtue and I like to cuss around kids. All I do every day is cuss my life away. I'm just a fucking motherfucking shit, fuck goddamn.
That's gonna be my theme song in hell, bro. Fucking